Okay, going for a take. Take one. Action. Welcome back to Going for a Take. I'm Matt.
I'm Ben.
I am Ollie.
And today's take is a catch-up episode because we've all been away doing fun things, being actors. It's a crazy life, isn't it? How was it being all actors again?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to remember what I'm doing everything for. Remember what I love.
Literally the same.
It's like, oh yeah. Yeah, no, it is worth it once, the grind happens, and then eventually after the hustle you go, this is why I do it. I forgot to introduce our producer, sound editor for everything. Pretty much just runs the whole ship. Max, go on.
Hello! Finally get a mic after 35 episodes.
He doesn't just have to shout into our mics from a distance now. Anyway, moving on to this episode. So I can't talk too much about what I've been working on, but Ollie, obviously you are on The Teacher. Ben, you're on Number One Fan. And all of us have been involved in Channel 5 shows, all working with the same production company, Clapperboard Studios, and all cast by the same casting director. Seems sus. I wonder if she watches the podcast and went, I think these three boys need a job. They need to stop filming more
They
episodes.
saw the desperation in our eyes.
Yeah, please, Michelle.
Let's throw them a bone.
So many episodes saying, please come on the podcast, Michelle. And then she was like, maybe I'll just give them a job instead. But yes, we're going to dive into all the stuff about Channel 5 later on. I'm going to kick off with Ollie talking about The Teacher. So can you give us a brief synopsis?
Yeah, so The Teacher, it's an anthology series on Channel 5, which means that every season is its own standalone season. I appeared in season 3, starring Victoria Hamilton and Alice Grant and Steve Edge and Naveen Chowdhury and a smattering of other fantastic actors. And then there's me. So this season follows a new head of drama at a posh private school who comes sort of head to head with a student over sort of pronouns and trans rights and woke culture, and navigating that in the modern world as a teacher, and where do you draw the line on it kind of thing, and exploring that, and then things sort of spiral out of control, and my character Sam sort of gets roped into the mix, and it all accumulates in tragic consequences.
We love tragic consequences.
We do.
Okay, full spoiler warning for this. What are those tragic consequences? And how does it involve your character?
So my character Sam is the son of this head of drama, who is played by the fantastic and wonderful human Victoria Hamilton.
Who's been in loads, right?
Who's done so much. So she is playing this head of drama, and she's in a detention with these two students. I can't remember their names. Oh no!
Student 1, Student 2.
Cressida Bancroft, played by Alice Grant, who is phenomenal, and Dee, I want to say Crawford, played by Ellis Jupiter, who is also phenomenal. These two students come from very different backgrounds. Dee is trans and non-binary, so they, them pronouns. Alice is cis, she, her, very, very privileged, very upper self, very social justice warrior-y, and basically baits Helen, Victoria Hamilton, into conflict. And Dee and Helen also sort of go back and forth a little bit, because Helen is really struggling with the pronouns and with sort of staying up to date with the times. And it all accumulates in that detention, with Helen basically telling Dee to kill themselves because life isn't going to get better and life isn't fair, so you might as well just kill yourself now.
Does she actually use those words?
Yep. And then, lo and behold, Dee kills herself. Trigger warning for the rest of the show, basically. Dee was my character Sam, who is the son of Helen, as I mentioned. They were Sam's friend. Oh god, it's so complicated to try and boil down. Basically, Cressida enters a relationship with Sam in the wake of Dee's suicide and manipulates Sam into also wanting to kill himself. Sam is a very troubled individual, has a very tragic past. There's bits of self-harm and really horrible backstory, and then the finale is Sam with a gun to his own head, basically, and Cressida telling him to pull the trigger.
Great scene there.
Thank you. We spent 4 days filming that scene.
Did you? No way.
It's really complicated for me to like try and boil down. It's been a long day.
Did you have
I've
to?
not done it justice.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you have to film those flashback scenes of the backstory, or was it all just stuff that you knew about because of the producer talked to you about it?
No, so like we spoke about it in scenes and things, and then talking to the producers about it. I did. So we created like fake social media profiles. So I had to do a photo shoot with this this random Spanish lad who was playing another boy from Sheffield, and that sort of brought it to life and gave it enough sort of backdrop to.
How was his Sheffield accent?
Well, I didn't get told to do a Sheffield accent, and it was really confusing for a little bit because both my parents, Victoria Hamilton and then Steve Edge, played my dad. Steve Edge has like an almost Midlands accent, and then I'm obviously Cheshire, and then Victoria Hamilton is like London. So we all like met, having not met each other before, not heard each other's accents, and went, oh wait, okay, where are we all from?
Yeah.
But we found a justification for it. Me and Steve sound like kind of similar in the show. Helen is a little bit posher, comes from a posher background, so it all does make sense. And also, like, my accent it's not like working class, is it? It's not.
It's pretty posh.
It is pretty posh.
It's soothing. It's well rounded and soothing.
Yeah, I pronunciate.
Can tell a good bedtime story, I
Pronunciate,
reckon.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's been a day.
It's been a day.
It's been a day.
So I guess I was aware that you had really heavy material to film in the show. Did you just say that you had 4 days of filming? What was that scene that you just mentioned?
Yeah, we spent 4 days filming the finale scene kind of thing, which is where everything comes to a head. Sam is holding a gun to his own head. Helen is trying to find Sam. Cressida is trying to get Sam to kill himself. And then Helen eventually finds them as Sam is about to pull the trigger and convinces him not to.
So it ends happily-ish, except
Cressida then grabs the gun, threatens to kill Helen and Sam. Helen managed to get Sam out. Cressida's threatening to kill Helen.
A lot of threats.
Helen convinces her not to, but then Cressida, they tussle, and then Cressida slices her own throat with a broken picture frame.
It really doesn't end happily.
And then we like travel forward in time. It's like a year later. Sam is now in a relationship with a lad called Leo. Cressida is in prison. Helen and Terry, Steve, who's my dad, are back together, kind of.
Okay, you know what? I think we... Oh, okay, cool. Go on.
I guess what?
Helen goes to visit
This is
Cressida.
like when you were describing one battle after the other.
Yeah, literally. Helen then goes to visit Cressida in prison, and Cressida reveals that she is pregnant with Sam's baby.
But what I don't understand is it's an anthology, isn't it? So they've left it on an edge of being like, oh, there could be more here. But then every season is a new story.
Yeah.
Unless it's not. Like, do you know what I mean? Because they've sort of left it so you can continue that.
Yeah, but it won't.
Yeah. But I was just
It's
like...
open-ended on purpose. Life is open-ended. It's
is it
artistic.
open-ended? Life isn't open-ended.
Maybe series
Yeah, but
4 is
it's-
going to
when you-
wrap
when
like
it-
all
Brother,
the different teachers
you never
together.
die and like your story is complete. You die and there's a million loose ends that you've not managed to do yet, especially if you
To be
die
fair.
young.
Yeah, but you don't have to deal with that.
Like so many stories go unfinished.
To be
It's
fair.
got way more profound than I thought it was going to be.
Sorry. I also like you should go watch The Teacher. It is a brilliant.
really good.
It's a really
Yeah.
good series. I've done it terribly. I've done it terrible
To be
justice
fair,
it there.
even if there were spoilers in that, you still have no idea what happens
Yeah,
because
like,
I still don't know.
You need
Because it's
to watch
open-ended,
it.
so you never know.
But all
you
this
really
leads me
need
to
to
my
watch it.
question, which was obviously we both worked on Waterloo Road together, and I know how hard that was. Playing what was Billy? I don't know. I always think
Why is he
that,
Scottish?
I always think that Jason Manford sounded kind of Scottish, like a Billy Connolly, like Billy. Billy, my boy, my son.
He's very Stockport.
But like, I don't know.
Very Mancunian.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Jason, fan of the show, Jason Mumford. Yeah, obviously that was a really harrowing storyline that you had to do, and you had to cry so many times in that, and you were really good at crying. And I feel like Michelle Smith, the casting director, saw you on that, who also cast you in Waterloo Road, and went, I reckon he can cry more, and then cast you in this. So, long question short, how did you take the tools that you learned from Waterloo Road into this, knowing how hard it was for you to deal with it in Waterloo Road?
Waterloo was hard because it was the first time that I've ever done it in that, like, to that scale. And like after a while, like it's like a muscle. The more you flex it, the better you are at it, and the easier it is. In fact, I was messaging you about it, wasn't I?
Literally, yeah.
It was like I came up with this analogy. It's like it's like a mountain that you have to climb. Right, the first time that you ever do it, you've got no map, you've got no compass, but you can see the top, and you just know that you've got to get to the top. You don't know what challenges you're going to face getting there, and you don't know how you're going to get back down again. But you've got a couple of ice picks, and you're just going to hike. You're just going to fucking scramble your way up, and it's going to be really, really hard. And coming down is going to be really, really hard as well. But once you've been up once, you know the route. So it's like, okay, I can come back better prepared. I can bring back better tools. I can climb up a little bit faster, come down a little bit faster. And then I can also start to show other people that. And those other people, or like, I don't know, your brain connections, can start to build quicker pathways. And then eventually you've got a proper path. And then eventually you've got an escalator to the top, or a steam train, or then you've got a lift. Like, it's all hypothetical. It's all in your head.
And then you just teleport.
And then eventually, yeah, you can just kind of get there, and you know what works for you to go into it and come out of it. So by the time that I got to the teacher, I'm very well practiced at sort of doing tragic, harrowing things. So yeah, it was a lot easier on the teacher. It was still hard work. That finale scene especially was very tricky, but it was a lot easier to sort of pull myself out of it and just feel like me again afterwards.
What did you do to achieve that?
What do you mean? Like, I don't know.
Like, obviously, me and Ben talk about techniques. You kind of have your own kind of vibe going on. I mean, obviously, filming abroad might have helped a little bit.
Helped how? Like, I don't know.
Step out. It's the sun is shining.
Like,
The tank is clean.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like
Finding Nemo.
I don't know what techniques I do use. I play the scene. I just exist in the scene for as long as we're rolling, and then try and finish it when they say cut. Like, if they say cut, there's like obviously a buffer period either end of it where I have to get into it, and then I also have to get out of it again. But like, you just exist in the scene for that length of time and live it and just play the truth of it.
Can you, in between takes, come out of it and just chat? Or when it's a scene like that for you, do you have to really, like, you can't really talk to people and exert energy in other areas between takes?
It depends on the day. I think most of the time I can now. Like, it's funny because I will have like tears streaming down my face, and I'll be like a snotty snivelling mess, and just having like a normal conversation whilst all this is going on. Because you never want to like fully clean yourself up either if you're going for another take. So it's like, but yeah, on this job I was able to do that more or less.
Nice.
I think I like, between a couple of takes I had to take myself off and just like take a deep breath and just like chill yourself out. You're fine. But yeah.
And in terms of the analogy that you were talking about and the messages that you guys were sending, was that to help Ben, obviously, with your show, Number One Fan? Or was that...
Well, it was because my first, which we'll go into in a bit, my first day on set on Number One Fan was, in my head, the hardest scene. So there was
Sorry?
My first day on Number One Fan was probably the hardest scene out of all of my scenes. So knowing Ollie and where he took it to with Waterloo Road, I just gave him a little call. We had a nice little chat. Gave me some really nice advice, very thoughtful advice. But yeah, it's like you were saying, it's a journey up a mountain, and every mountain you go up, there's always more. Get to the top, and yeah, you can get an escalator to that one, but then there's another one. It's like, oh shit, I don't know this route.
And in terms of, yeah, so going into number one fan now for a little bit, what's like a brief synopsis? Spoiler warning again.
Try and keep it brief.
About that one. Maybe his Channel 5 dramas are just really, really complex.
They pack a lot into them.
do.
Yours was what,
For,
4 episodes?
Yeah, and yours was 4
episodes as well.
Like, they pack a lot in, and it's
Yeah.
impressive the way they do it because it doesn't feel too full.
Rushed and forced.
Like, yeah, it's still well paced, and it's just got layers.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there was a lot of layers in number one fan. There were so many like subplots around the main plot, but a little brief summary of the plot is basically Lucy Logan, this daytime TV presenter. She has a stalker called Donna, played by Sally Lindsay. Incredible woman. She plays my sister. But that's that you have to watch it to understand why, because all my scenes are in the past, because my character unfortunately ends his own life, which is a common theme here in Channel 5 dramas. But yeah, he takes his own life after he's blackmailed by Jill Halfpenny's character Lucy into going on a game show. And the story revolves around the consequences of that event and what happens if that the footage of that event gets leaked out to the public, and how it will ruin her career that she's spent so many years building. So that's one perspective on it, and then the other perspective is Donna wants revenge for what has happened because she never really got the acknowledgement and the support which she deserved, and no one supported her on that, and that is Lucy's fault in her eyes. So we go on this roller coaster of who's right and wrong. Is Lucy right in this scenario, or is Donna right in this scenario, or are they both wrong in different ways? And it's sort of it feels very much that sort of Baby Reindeer-esque at first, and then it delves deeper into it and you realize, oh wait, actually is Donna the bad guy here? What is going on? And we get to really like unpack as the show go on, my character Ben Hughes, of why it got to the stage it got to. So yeah, that's it. Try to keep it brief.
And what was the you said you shot your hardest scene on the Monday, right?
Yeah.
Or the first day.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking this was like your first major TV gig, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
You've done like film and TV stuff before, but
biggest
this was
role
like
I've done.
biggest role.
today.
Yeah, you were in all 4 reps from
Yeah,
IMDb.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've not actually watched it, so I don't know how they edited it together. But
He does a DiCaprio. He don't watch his own films.
I know I'm in a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, how did you manage like nerves, I guess, about being on set in your first like major TV gig?
You prepare so much to give yourself that foundation of, you put in the work, and then it gives you that support in a way. And obviously you've got your family, your friends, like Ollie, you've got people around you to really help you. But, you spend so many years training and you put so much work in, it would be a waste of an opportunity to go in there and allow the pressure to overcome you. And I feel like sort of in a show like this, that pressure is important, because when you do have a scene, like some of the scenes we shot in that show, you want pressure, because the pressure gives you that extra edge. It gives you stakes in the scene. But the first scene we shot was the scene just before Ben Hughes ends his life. So getting to that emotional point isn't an easy journey, especially when you've not really met anyone on set yet. You go, you have your fittings and you do all the stuff you need to do to get yourself ready, but I hadn't met any of the departments.
You found it hard with the Spanish crew, didn't you?
Yeah, I think there's always that like language barrier, in the sense that like I grew up speaking a decent amount of Spanish because I went to Spain a lot, because I've got family in Spain. So I could understand bits, but I'm not fluent enough at the moment, even though I'm relearning, to understand every conversation. And sort of, I guess for anyone, it's human nature to want to know what's going on. And when people are talking in different languages, you sort of don't know what's going on. So it makes it more nerve-wracking in a way, because you go so far away to film, a few hours away to film, these monumental scenes, which are really pivotal in the show, which you really want to get the tone right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pressure, but pressure. We said it before. Pressure is a privilege.
Which moments were they speaking Spanish? Is it like, you know, when you get your
Sorry.
checks and?
What are you
You
laughing
just
at?
said pressure is a privilege.
It is, though.
Another podcast that I listened to just
Oh, is this
released,
the Tom Holland one?
just no. Just released an episode called Pressure is a
No
Privilege, and
way.
it's really fucking funny. It's such a funny podcast. And you just
Segue
said it.
into
I literally
which
listened to it
podcast is
today, and
that?
you said it. I was like, oh.
But
it's
it's
the
true,
Ellis
though.
James and John Robbins show
Oh, yeah, I
on
know
BBC Sounds and Spotify.
God.
But it is
yeah.
true though. It is a privilege.
What are we talking about? Spanish people speaking Spanish. Yeah, I guess. In fact, going back before that, did you get a chance to meet the cast or the director at least before you filmed on the first day?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always feel like it makes me more comfortable as an artist if I know who I'm working with. And I was very lucky because when I was staying in the hotel, I got to meet them all in like the restaurant, and we had a nice conversation about, you know, about the craft, about just our lives in general, what we're up to. So you build that chemistry with people so that when you are on set, you feel like you have that support in a way. It's not a stranger. You know them, they're a friend. Because for me, I like to have that feeling of like a tribe when you're on set. Like a tribe. Like you want to feel like you belong, because that helps in anything in life, really. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like moving forward now you got this really great credit under your belt. What's like one major thing that you've learned from this that you want to take into your next gig?
For me, like, you can prepare so much for a role, but you can't. The big lesson I learned from this is you can't prepare for the aftermath. Whether that's it's what you do to cool yourself down after a workout. You've got to cool down, otherwise your muscles get sore, right? I took myself to a place on that. Even though it was a relatively small role, I took myself to a place on that where I didn't have any mechanisms to come out of it. So for me, like, I was learning on the job after it of what do I do? I'll have a hot bath. I know that makes me feel relaxed. I'll have a hot bath and I'll order a takeaway. You know, give myself a little pat on the back. Like, you know, the little things, the little self-love things you can do to sort of get out your head. That was really important for me because I'd never done a scene on set where you go to the lengths you go to on that. You know, the character was on the verge of committing suicide, so to get yourself into that mindset and that space isn't easy. But it's like you were saying, it's a mountain, and when you get up there, you can go up there again.
I feel like it's treading that fine line, isn't it? Because obviously, so you're there feeling vulnerable anyway because of the mindset that you're putting into the headspace of the character. You're also feeling vulnerable and isolated because of not being able to understand what's going on around you because of the language barrier that's occurring. You're also feeling like vulnerable because you don't really know everyone yet. You're not set up that tribe. But then a lot of that's useful for the character in that moment because of what the character's going through, but not letting it veer too far off the mark that it affects Ben more than it affects the character.
Yeah, definitely. And also some of these choices were things which, you know, it's easier if you change certain circumstances around you than to help get you into the character. So Ben Hughes, for example, he goes on to the show, The Verdict, and he doesn't know any of the crew or anything like that. So you take those scenarios from real life and you put those into the work, in my opinion, because it makes you then have to do, you can do less. You don't have to do as much.
I always find like the less acting that you do, the better your acting is.
You don't have to force it.
If you're working opposite someone, you're like, wow, they're amazing. And your character has to think that, then you don't have to do anything. You just have to go, wow.
Yeah, literally.
We should probably take a little break. We'll come back after this to talk a little bit about Channel... Let me try that again. Talk about Channel 5. Part 2 is going
After our brief interlude.
Wait, have we started?
Yeah,
We have.
Oh, excellent. Okay, I'm going to stop this voice.
I was going to say...
So, part 2, we're going to talk more about Channel 5. Obviously, the three of us have been in Channel 5 shows, all with Clapperboard.
All filming abroad.
Yeah.
All filming abroad.
I wanted to ask this actually. How did you find filming abroad? Is it all of our first times filming abroad?
Yeah.
It was, yes.
There we
Was it
go.
yours?
Yeah. Matt, you first, because we've done a hell of a lot of talking
You
in
guys
part
have
one.
done some really good talking. Obviously, I can't say what it was. I can't say where it was. I could probably say I'm not going to say where it was just in case.
No.
It was
Play it
excellent
safe.
though. It was just so cool. This is going to be really difficult to not talk about any specifics. It was somewhere that was hot. The food was amazing. I was filming it.
Did you get a lot of downtime? Whilst you were
Yeah,
there?
so I arrived like on the Thursday, and I started filming on the Monday.
Oh, bliss.
Which was great because then on the Thursday that I arrived, I also had my costume and my. Was that an ice cream van?
Yeah.
Ice cream.
It's this
I had a
weird
lot of ice
Soviet ice cream van that does the
like
rounds on the
creepy.
state.
Interesting.
What was I saying?
You were somewhere hot on planet Earth.
Oh yeah, so Thursday I had my my costume and makeup fittings as well. And they were so cool. Obviously, you guys know why they were so cool. I imagine this will be announced closer to the end of the year, probably going on air around like, I don't know, February time or something.
Autumn, no?
Autumn this year. I thought that, yeah.
Or November, no?
You
Oh, right. Okay.
Somewhere in the future.
Fair
because
enough.
they've got a Christmas special first.
Oh, of course they do.
That's.
I
yeah.
keep thinking the camera's still there. It's not.
Yeah.
Is it Coronation Street?
Yeah.
Coronation Street abroad.
But how'd you say Coronation Street in Spanish, Ben?
I'm too tired to
Okay,
answer.
never mind. It was amazing. So basically, while I was there, I was a geek, and I think I can say this: the place that I was at, they filmed a lot of Game of Thrones scenes there for a particular location within the show, and I just spent the first few days. Literally just going on
No,
Google,
you can
going
say
where
that,
were
that's
these
fine.
filmed, and just turning up. There was one time I turned up. It was the taxi driver dropped me off, and he was like, "Why is this white English dude going to this church on a Sunday?" And I went up, and then I looked inside, and I was like, "That's where they said that thing," which is when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Yeah.
If anyone manages to work out what I was in from that, that's mental. Fair play to you.
There's no way.
No. But I looked in, said it was closed, but the door was wide open. And I was like, picture, cool. But
Sick.
yeah, all the nuns were in the Sunday service, so we're all good.
Amazing.
It was just sick. I was there and I was like walking the same places that Ned Stark walked and Cersei and all of these different...
How long were you there for? A week and a half?
Week and a half, yeah.
Okay. So you weren't away from home for too long?
No, not at all. I would have loved to have been there for
Okay.
longer.
Yeah, very valid. But
Yeah.
my next question was going to be like, how did you find being away from home for so long? But Ben, how long were you away for?
Nearly 3 weeks. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I loved
How long were you away for?
2 months.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna
wow,
say.
okay.
Because you were in Victoria and Oviedo, or was it just Victoria?
Just Vitoria-Gasteiz
Yeah.
in Spain, and then we paused production for a month, and then carried on in sunny Rickmansworth.
That's why, yeah. Because number one fan was Victoria and Oviedo, but I got there when they were filming in Oviedo, so I didn't get to see Victoria.
Yeah, we actually had the same makeup artist. Which
We
was,
did, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, it's the
She,
same
I love her.
production
She's
company.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
No
amazing.
way.
Blanca.
When you turned up,
Yeah.
did you mention it?
Yeah, and I took a picture and sent it to Ollie, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god."
Oh,
That's so
Yeah,
sweet.
she was lovely.
yeah, her name's Blanca. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's brilliant.
And what, which producers were attached to each of your shows?
In terms of exec producers, or like,
We
I
had
guess, was
same
there
as-
like an on-the-ground producer that turned up?
yeah, Jake Rollins was
Okay.
our like man on the floor.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if you guys had the same...
No.
Because whilst as Ben was starting to film, Jake was still doing like post production.
Yeah.
Like
Got you.
the producer
Stuff
of
for
mine
teacher.
was an amazing guy. He's called Brett Wilson, and then the exec was Mike Benson. Who did he exec the teacher, Mike Benson? Because he might have actually.
no, I think that was Andy
know.
Morgan. Andy Morgan did mine. Hang on, let me have a look.
Yeah.
I don't think he did. I think I met him though
What, Mike? Yeah,
Yeah.
you will have met him at the.
at the party.
party,
Yeah, I
yeah.
have. I've
Yeah.
met him. Yeah, because he's from the north. Yeah,
He is, yeah.
yeah.
Here's a question, Al. Did you have a similar experience in terms of like language barrier when you were on the teacher?
A little bit. Not. I don't know. Obviously, I was there for longer,
Yeah.
so I got to know them a little bit more, and it was I got to start off with like relatively easy scenes as well, so I got to really ease in and get to know everybody. So
Kind of shot chronologically.
no,
Less trauma, more trauma.
almost, yeah, almost. But
Oh, wow.
it was obviously it's a little bit jarring just when you go to a country and you're trying to work, but like people are talking a different language. But also like obviously, Ben, this is one of your biggest TV jobs so far, but I've done a few now. And
Flex.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, I've done a few, and like it's like if somebody's having a conversation that you can't hear, you probably don't need to hear it, and so you just don't concern yourself with it, and so like
It's what I do every day.
yeah, it's just like after a while, it's kind of like, well, I just won't bother. Like if they're speaking in Spanish, it is clearly not meant for English ears. They know I don't speak Spanish, so if they're talking in Spanish, it's not for me.
That is true.
If they're talking in English, then maybe I'll perk up and go, oh, is that for me?
Nah.
Just keep an ear
I think
out,
it's different
but-
though. Not when I'm on set. It was more just costume things and stuff like that. When they're looking at you and trying to figure out what works, and then you're just stood there. You know that because
Yeah,
I find a costume fitting actually harder sometimes than actual.
I guess it can
acting.
feel a little bit awkward, like a little bit like you're a zoo animal. But again, I think with time, you get used to that
Yeah,
feeling.
true.
You get used to having people, for want of a better word, look at you like you're an object and objectify you. Like
Yeah, true.
Like
Spin
when-
around.
yeah.
Okay, show me. Okay,
when
good.
when they're trying to figure out what works on you, they are literally looking at you just as a physical being and not as a person.
That is true.
I did find something that you said before. I think, yeah, just bouncing off. The only bit that I found strange was, even though I was in like another country, reminding myself that this was work. Like initially, I was just going to stay in my apartment room and just focus on the script and do all the normal stuff. And then I did that, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm allowed to go and explore now. But it is strange because obviously your heart wants to do that, but your brain and the responsibility, everything that you were talking about before in terms of the pressure, forces you to have to stay in that apartment room. Sit on the balcony, you're still like absorbing the sunshine and the atmosphere. Treading the line between those two just was, I mean, it's still a privilege to be able to be put in that position. But I found the temptation quite hard to resist, to not be like, I just want to go and walk down the pier and go to the beach and go explore. Did you find that as well?
Well, I was very when I was filming, I had quite a few of my scenes at the start, and then my final scene of the show was the following week. So I actually had about 4 days off, where I knew that I'd done as much prep as I could. There wasn't really any more I could have done. So I just said in those 4 days, you know, the hardest scenes are out the way. I'm going to explore the city. I might never be in Oviedo again. I'm going to go on a hike, get to the top and find out what animals live in that forest, and find out there's 6-foot brown bears and have to hike down and think I'm by myself. But apparently they only eat berries, apparently. I went and just tried loads of food, worked on my Spanish, went to different cafes and restaurants and only spoke Spanish just because it's the best way to learn, really. And then, yeah, just, you know, have good food, good wine. Wine in North Spain is incredible.
Sangria.
Sangria is great, but the wine, so good. But yeah, I don't know. Where, like, if I know when work is, and I know.
Ollie and I made so much eye contact, but I didn't know what was
I know. I was trying to figure out what you were saying to me. I was like, what's going on?
I think sort of compartmentalizing the two, and work is work and rest is rest, and trying to remember the balance is important. So I made sure that I got a decent amount of rest, and that so that I didn't burn myself out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess the reason I wanted to bring up Channel 5 and it was just a weird coincidence. I was listening to this other podcast. I really recommend it. It's called The Rest is Entertainment. It's with Richard Osman and Marina Hyde. All of their episodes are great. They talk a lot about stuff that's going on in the culture and both celebrity and TV and kind of everything going on. And obviously they're so clever and funny. They break it down in really simple ways. They were talking in this one episode about the rise of Channel 5 being this powerhouse for original dramas. And I was listening to it, and they were talking about Clapperboard, and they were talking about all the countries that we've each worked in. And their spin on it was that I guess about 10 years ago or so. Two gents, as far as I'm aware anyway, one called Ben Fro, who's the chief content officer, and Sebastian Cardwell, who's head of drama at Channel 5 in the UK, clocked that there was this switch happening where streaming was starting to take over, particularly in the younger generations as well. And the budget or the ability to make new dramas was really fading away, particularly in the UK. And they realized, actually, if we can work out a way to make lower budget original dramas, then we can kind of access this market that's fading really rapidly. This kind of like mid-tier original dramas. One of the things they mentioned was that, which was really pertinent to the three of us, is that they used to be, when terrestrial TV was the thing, there were all these dramas that soap actors would like move on to. They do their stint on Corrie or, maybe like Waterloo Road or whatever, and then they go, okay, what's next? What's the next step? And that would be the next step. But then as streaming's come in and been way more important, and, our generation, basically, I only just watch streaming, basically. That bracket, that tier that people can access is really diminished and faded away. And what Channel 5 has done is they've brought that back over the past 10 years. And if you look at all the TV shows that they make, Shiraz Ahmed, the casting director we had on in end of season 2, he cast All Creatures Great and Small and Hard Acres, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Both of which are original dramas for Channel 5, and they're like one of the top ones for them. They make loads of money, but it's interesting, their demographic as well. People that watch it on the terrestrial TV, they're all the older generation, maybe like over 50, but they've also started having so much success with their terrestrial TV, just watching it straight as it's live, that they're now putting it on the streaming services as well. All that being said, it kind of brings me to the question of what you guys think in terms of the way that's going to keep going forward if other companies like BBC are also going to start taking note of Channel 5 being able to make these really low budget, mid-tier, complex dramas, and that it's actually going to grow as an industry, particularly within the UK, or if you think that it's going to keep dwindling as streaming just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger as a conglomerate.
I think the statistics show that there is a big increase in terms of year-on-year percentage. It's something like this year alone has had a 25% increase in streaming on Channel 5, which is insane. I think it's topped as the highest increase in all major production companies in the UK. So for me, they're clearly doing something right. Mm-hmm. And I think that the model is, from what I've watched and what I know, is it seems to be very much catch you in a shorter series, like a 4-episode series with an episode a night, so you don't have to wait a week. Because when you wait a week, if it's good, you will wait a week, but if it's not, then you're not going to bother. Whereas if one every night, you can sort of go through it and it gives you something for the week, and it builds up to it. They've done really well socially on socials to build up to the hype of a show, and then when it comes out, it sort of it increases the volume of people watching it. Mm-hmm. I think they've done really good stuff, and I think the dramas because they're original. People want to see original stories. That the amount of remakes on things, which some of them, don't get me wrong, great. Others, not so much. A great example, I think, Day of the Jackal, right? The original Day of the Jackal, very, very great, very great film. They made it into a TV show, and the TV show, in my opinion, was great. Paul, the director of Number One Fan, was one of the directors on that show, and I thought it was a great TV show. But there are others which haven't been able to replicate that, and have been sort of a disappointment, because it's like, why are you remaking that? Mm-hmm. Whereas when it's an original drama, you have no other foundation to compare it to. So it's sort of its own standalone thing. And if it then gets to season 2 or an anthology like your show, it's even more stories that are original. So I think it's a bit of a win-win. What do you think, Ollie?
What was the question?
Why do you like the success?
Yeah, whether you think that BBC, ITV, or the other UK channels are going to try and replicate Channel 5's success with the mid-tier, low-budget dramas, or whether Channel 5 is going to run out of steam and streaming is just going to take over completely.
I don't know. This
And
industry,
that's a wrap.
No, like this industry is so unpredictable. Like
Literally.
at the best of times, like it's impossible to know. So they said something on that podcast episode about how a BBC drama, on average, is about £1 million an hour to make, which is mental.
That is
In fact, no,
An
is that BBC or is that like a Netflix thing?
I think they were saying like, yeah, BBC.
just in general. I think on average.
£1 million
like-
an hour is in when you're watching it. That cost £1 million per the hour.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. Okay.
No, as
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
I understood
yeah.
it as when they're making it.
Or when they're making it.
I don't.
Because
know.
then that would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
No, it's as you're watching
12 million
it.
a
It's
day.
as you're watching it.
I was going to say.
Yeah, no, it's as you're watching it because
See, when I
we
listen to it, I
spoke
didn't think
about.
that
I
deep.
spoke with a producer on Waterloo about the budget for Waterloo, and
That tracks.
It
Okay,
tracks.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on average, it's about £1 million an hour, whereas Channel 5 are managing to make all of these dramas, of which there are many. Like if you just go on to My5 and like just scroll on like must-watch drama
just churn them
category,
out.
it's one after the other of like drama after drama. Great. Like, they've just come out with the Martin Clunes one as well.
Yeah.
Was that the one, Power of the Downfall of Hugh Edwards?
Yeah. They're making it for 350 grand an hour,
Insane.
which is it's what 35% of the total cost of a BBC drama. So, and if every production company could then make something of that quality for that cheap, then yeah, great. I think that's a good thing because it also gives a platform to so many more writers, so many more creatives who are just starting out, who have an original idea, who potentially don't have the connections initially to get into the BBC, to get into Netflix, to get into wherever. So yeah, I think I hope they do, but also I think Channel 5 are doing a good thing by themselves at the moment, and I don't want that to stop, and I don't want other people to dilute that.
Yeah, I imagine with the lower budget, it means they can take more risks. They can make more original stuff. They can just try new stuff out. Go, what's an idea?
They
Okay,
also-
go write it.
They bring loads of stuff back. So like you said, All Creatures Great and Small. Yes, it's an original drama for 5 now.
Season
But
6 now,
it started on the BBC
Did
way back when. It's a reboot now.
Oh, right. Yeah, the original.
And then they're also bringing back Play for Today. What's it called?
That game show that they mentioned.
No,
I'm
it's not.
sure.
It's not a game show. It's
Is it
drama.
not?
No, it's a drama.
Interesting.
Can you just Google it, please, Max? It's play for today, play for the day, something like that.
Is this a recent thing that's coming
And
out?
it's like an anthology series, but each episode is standalone.
Cool.
like Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Play for today.
Play for today. Yeah. So each episode is its own standalone thing, like Black Mirror. But like they're with that reboot that they're bringing it back with, they're opening up the platform to specifically working class creatives to give them a platform and a way into the industry, to give particularly people from lower income backgrounds a way to get their shit made and get their things out there, which is insanely hard in this industry, and it's really great that they're championing that. And they've got loads of these schemes about as well, to give like new writers an opportunity to get their stuff made for relatively cheap. It's not a huge risk on the production company side.
Yeah.
And
It's a great incentive in it. It's great for those like people that are coming up. Or I almost said the name of the show then. I was with the director, so the way that they do those episodes, there's a certain number of episodes, and the first half are by one director.
You don't have to be that careful. Come on.
I don't know. I only just wrapped in it. My episode was with a guest director, and they
nice.
just get in a new upcoming director each series, who's like done a few credits, but still kind of like rising up through the ranks. And I almost always feel like I really enjoy working with those people because they're the ones. It's not that they feel they've got a lot to prove or whatever, but they've still got so much energy and like passion for the business. That talent is still so raw. It's not too polished yet, and it feels like more of a collaboration as well. Yeah, she was amazing. I had the best time working with them. But it's great that...
Who was it? You can say.
I don't know. I've been so careful this whole episode. I can't fail now. But yes, Channel 5 doing amazing work. And that's a wrap.
You're so scared, aren't you? You're slipping up.
I'm just not good at this. I'm like Tom Holland, but I just have the anxious voice in my head going, don't say it.
Matt, remind me, where did you film again?
Was it on planet Earth?
Croatia, Spain, France, UK?
Lies.
Well, I was also going to say in terms of that risk,
Go on, one last thing.
that to save you, that risk taking, like you can take risks on people as well, because you know that in a show like this, there are so many up and coming actors who you see and you watch them and you go, they're good, and like you can then watch their careers go from there and blossom into something hopefully beautiful, but you see people have risks taken on them, and it's nice watching that, because if it's in a really big budget high-end show like an Apple TV show, that usually it's very rare that they don't go this way, but usually they'll get someone with a name to play lead characters or to play supporting leads. So yeah, I think Channel 5 are doing a very, very good job of sort of finding that gap between the soap style and the high end like Apple TV dramas, and finding that middle point of, you know, it's not got a budget of 10 million ep. It's not Game of Thrones, but the caliber of some of these shows have the potential to really excite people and make you sit down and go, oh, Channel 5 has a new show, I want to watch that. Like The Teacher was a great example. I watched it because you were in it, but once I watched it, I go, oh, I'd watch another season of that. What about season 1 and 2? Or your show, whatever that might be, or wherever that might have been filmed. I guess we'll never know.
That's a good place to end. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you whenever the next episode drops. Maybe we'll do some more acting. Who knows?
FYI,
Michelle, cast us
we
in
are not
Monster.
following a schedule anymore. We're all too busy. We'll film when we can.
We're doing the thing.
And we might have a guest.
Ladies and
It
gents.
might just be us three. We might have a guest sometimes, and we might not.
No.
Guess you'll find out.
Maybe. Max is the next guest.
To be fair.
All right, that's a wrap. Woo!